and
for Indigenous Ways. And we're dealing with a little bit of a slow Wi-Fi here in Chinle.
and you're in.
But we're really grateful that we're able to say that Indigenous Ways is dedicated to bridging cultures globally, and our nonprofit has been so blessed to merge cultures with our Native American variety of cultures on a world stage. We've also been able to access our deaf and hard of hearing brothers and sisters that are artists. But before we start, we always like to acknowledge our ancestors. We like to acknowledge all the Navajo people on the lands we're on right now. We're in the heart of Canyon de Chelly and a little community called Chinle, where I happened to go to high school when I was a child. And we are here, so we'd like to acknowledge the ancestors, and we'd like to acknowledge the ancestors from where you're all beaming in from, so that we could all be here today. Dennis Long is a living legend. And before I get started, I'd like to
Yeah,
say,
we're really excited you are all here. And Tash is going to be introducing Dennis. If you've just joined us, whether that be from social media land or from our Zooms to people, we just want to tell you, as Tash said, we are beaming in from the reservation. That's the Navajo Reservation here in Chinle, Arizona, where we just finished relief drops, thanks to all of you. So if you're in Zoom and we disappear and you get booted off, it's because the internet was unstable. So we're going to try twice. So if you disappear and we disappear off social media, come back again. And if we get kicked off a second time, we'll just call it a night. So I just wanted to say that. And also want you to think about too, my lips might be moving, but you might be hearing the sound a little bit later. That's what people throughout Indian country have had to put up with this bandwidth, low bandwidth. Those who are being educated or not, living in Indian country, all the problems that they've had. So we're really quite chuffed that we're able to beam out from the Navajo Nation at this time. So I'm saying that, Tash.
all right, so we are so blessed to have our beautiful brother, Dennis Long, who is a full-blood Navajo. I will let Dennis introduce himself, tell us where he's from. All I'm going to say about Dennis is that he is a living legend because he is carrying on the tradition of what the Navajo people are known for, and that is the most exquisite, intricate forms of weaving that Dennis is going to talk about this evening. So let's all welcome Dennis Long. And before we get started, I just want to say, hi, Dennis. I'm glad you came on. Thank you. And as we get started, Dennis, we'll just do a traditional greeting. Can you tell us who you are and a little bit about yourself? Go ahead and just talk to us, Dennis.
Hello, my name is Dennis Long. I don't know if you can see me, I have a small screen here. But yes, my name is Dennis Long. This is my sign name, D across the forehead. I am Navajo, and I live in Teak Nas Pas, Arizona, near the Four Corners area. I live in Shiprock, New Mexico currently, and I went to the New Mexico School for the Deaf in Santa Fe, New Mexico. I graduated, I graduated from the 12th grade, and then I went back home, and then I went on to college, and I learned from my mother how to paint. And so it's from her that I learned this skill, and I continue to grow in this skill, and I still do it to this day, and weaving as well.
Okay, thank you very much for that, Dennis. And because our signal is a little bit shaky, I'd like to ask you to slow down your finger spelling just a little bit so the interpreters can read it, because it's freezing up and doing trails a little bit. So can you tell us, when did you first see weaving? How did you come into weaving? Tell us about that. Thank you.
Sure. So growing up, I saw my mother weave, and I continued to watch and learn from her. And so I would say I was about 9 years old when I really started to practice the art of weaving myself. Actually, I was 19, sorry. I was 19 when I started to weave. And over time, I have definitely improved in my skill, and I definitely would say that I've improved. I'm a lot better at my weaving now. And so I teach the youth here how to weave as well.
Wow, that's awesome, Dennis. So you got your inspiration from watching your mother weave while you were growing up, and you started weaving at 19 years old and have continued to do that to now. So can I ask you about your weaving? I know people do weaving. They can weave apples. People can weave trees. People can weave mountains. What do you weave? What's your style?
I weave lukachukai.
Yebiche, yebiche.
Yebiche. Yes, I weave yebiche. And I also do sand paintings. And Tiknox Pas drawings and different designs as well. And then I also do pronounced Tisnas Pas and a few different other things. And I weave different designs. And I can weave names as well. Yes, I weave different names across my different projects. And Navajo clothing as well. I can make that as well.
Okay, Dennis, the screen is freezing up a little bit. It's hard to make out what you're signing. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about our experience yesterday. It was so amazing going to your house, and we're going to see if Elena can put up some of the figures that we took, some of the pictures. So let's see. Are you able to see
Yes.
Dennis weaving? This was taken yesterday. Can you see that, Kaylee? Is that yes? Yeah, okay, good. This was yesterday at Dennis's house. And if you can see, he is working on a Yebiche dancers, and his this is what he shared with us, is that the when you see a Yebiche dancers with a square around the face, it's females. And if you see on the side, they all represent, the designs all represent different stuff, which I'm going to see if hopefully Dennis can talk about. Do you want to show some more pictures, Elena?
No, if Dennis can share
Yeah.
about this piece
We
he's
don't have
doing
a
at the
stable-
moment, that's okay.
Dennis, do you want to talk about your rug that you're working on right now?
Yes, I am weaving a rug, and it is of yay bache. It is an event that happens in the fall.
The ribbon that comes down the side is representation of the arrow.
Yes, and so it's part of what they wear. And then there is and in the skirt, the skirts that they wear, there is this particular shape. Yes, so the triangle is their skirt within the design. Mm-hmm. And that's what they wear, as you can see within the design. And that's what I'm currently weaving.
No, just
Okay, so Dennis, you do
Thank you.
such exquisite rugs, and your attention to detail and your color coordination is amazing. So the people out there that are interested in learning how to weave, can you talk about, like, I know there's thin yarn and there's thick yarn. Do you prefer one or the other? Like, do you like to work with thick? Oh, you like thin. Okay.
I use thin yarn.
Okay. And why is that?
Yes, I prefer the thin yarn. I like the traditional rugs, and that is what I have been taught to use to weave with. And so that is what I continue to use. And I think it also works better when it's a thinner yarn. I think it's definitely better than the thick. I really love to use the thin yarn in my own work. Honestly, the thicker yarn, I believe, it's more difficult to use when making the designs. And I believe you can get more detail when you use.
thank you,
That's
Dennis.
beautiful.
It's so beautiful. Fantastic non-weaver and an appreciation of weaving. Is there a particular wool that you prefer? And if so, why do you prefer that wool or particular sheep?
I like to use different colored wools. And for different designs, I like to combine different colors. I like to use a variety of different colors.
That's stunning. And is there a particular wool, sheep wool that you prefer to use?
Yes, I do use sheep wool. Yes, from the sheep. Mm-hmm. That is correct.
Do you know anything about churro?
Yes, I will make the wools myself. I will mix them with the dyes, and then I we'll stretch them out and roll them out to become the thin threads of yarn. And I'll make the yarn myself in order to do my art. And it takes a long time to definitely stretch out the wool. But I believe that it's definitely best to use, to make it yourself, even though it does take a long time. So I'll card the wool myself.
That is so amazing. We're going to show.
I still use the same technique that I've used all my life. And I believe it's definitely easier to do it that way.
That is so cool, Dennis. Well, we were amazed to see all the countless rugs, your finished rugs yesterday that you showed us, and all the publications that you've been in where people have written about your exquisiteness, particularly the style of weaving that comes from the Four Corners area of the Navajo Nation is very specific to what you do. Can you tell us a little bit about how long it takes you to start a rug and finish a rug?
Well, I've started since I was 19 or 20 years old is when I first started to weave my own rugs. And I've been working on it ever since. So I would say I've been weaving for about 39 years now.
All right, so if you start a rug, does it take you like 3 months? Or if you if you weave for 8 hours in one day, can you finish a rug in 3 months or 4 months, or does it take you a half a year? To do a big rug, how long does it take you?
It definitely depends on the design and how large. I would say if it's about 4 feet, it would take about 2 months, or it can take up to 6 months, depending on the size of the rug. I typically tend to take about 6 months to complete one of my rugs. But of course, like I said, it depends on the size.
So in your family, how many weavers are left? I know you said your mother was a weaver, and maybe her sisters were weavers, but how many weavers are left now in your family?
Well, there are very many. My mom is one. I've got a sister who also weaves. There's myself, and many of the other elders who used to do weaving have died, so we're really the last.
Wow. That's
In my family, it's just one family, and really I do it full time, so yeah.
well, thank you so much for taking 2 hours out of your day weaving yesterday and spending it with us. We were just absolutely blown away at all of your history, the rugs you've done over the years. I mean, gosh, you did I think we saw probably over 80 rugs, exquisite, that you've done over the years. I'm so glad that you were able to take pictures of them and archive them. We're trying to download some of the pictures for our audience to see some of your archived works? And we'll see if we can show one. Hold on one second.
So Dennis, we're just going to show this picture of you now. You talked about the beautiful colors. While this comes up, and while our wonderful audience is looking at this, I just want, when we come back in, if you can explain to what we're looking at.
Yeah, I can do that. Beautiful.
Is that Yebiches?
Yeah, it is.
You got more? Can you do more?
Yeah, Dennis, while we're back in from that picture, would you like to explain a little bit more about what we just saw?
Like, what year did you make it?
Yeah, so that piece is several women standing alongside one another. And then I think that there are 6 women in total and they're dancers. They're dressed in the regalia of dancers, you can tell by the designs.
That's beautiful. I'm just going to put that back up for everyone again, just in case it came off a little bit too quickly.
Yeah, just let them see it.
Wow, stunning, eh?
Amazing.
Just the work in it.
So Dennis, you're saying that you know how to take the wool off the sheep, card it, darn it, dye it, prepare it, color it, come up with the design, and go to work? Do you know how to weave from start to finish in the traditional Navajo way? Did your mom teach you all that from when you were little? We might have a frozen screen. So if we have an unstable screen, I think it's a good time to invite the audience in to ask questions.
So Dennis, this is that fun
I don't think he
time
can see.
of what we do. And so if you've zoomed in, we're going to get you to, if you want to, turn on your cameras. Don't forget we're streaming live at this moment out into our social media, which we're really grateful of. If you are, or if you've just joined us, whether that be in Zoom or through our social media, welcome. You're at the Indigenous Ways Wisdom Circle. We are very honored to have traditional Dene Navajo weaver Dennis Long, where we've been looking at his exquisite pieces of work. And so that's what we've been looking at. We're also beaming out from the Navajo Nation. We're here at the moment in Chinle in Arizona. So our network is very unstable, and we're very, very blessed because Dennis who is our featured artist guest with us today, he has driven 2 hours to Shiprock or is it 2 hours?
It's about 45
Oh,
minutes.
sorry, my apologies. 45 minutes from Tisnos Pass. So he could have a stable internet, so he could beam out with us. So we're really grateful for his sister Maria, who drove Dennis to his wonderful cousin's Malvina's place. So thank you to the family and also Dennis for making this huge effort so we could see you and be with you tonight as you share your weavings. And while we're also doing that, usually we've got 3 screens up and we're looking at all our social media. But because we're beaming out from the Navajo Nation, we're on a laptop plus the phone. So bear with us while we're looking at our social media, because we always have people banging up, popping up questions. So also, if you're a bit shy and you want to type in social media or Zoom, if any questions, now's the time to do that, so we can do the best that we can, and also ask some questions as well. Amber, we know that you are a weaver, so do you have a question that you might have from one weaver to another weaver, of things that you might be dying to ask, or also have a comment of what you have seen or anything like that?
I am not that skilled. Beautiful, beautiful work. Do you have any more pictures?
We have a ton, but we don't have the download speed here. Let's put the one back up one more time, okay?
Oh,
Yeah, and
Yeah, put
so
it back up.
just before we go there, I want to welcome in Kathy, Terry, and also Harry. That's Tasha's mum, and also her stepfather. We were up in Black Mesa with them just a few hours ago, where we just had fry bread and mutton stew after our drop off. There at the chapter house, and also with the wonderful Lindeen, who is the nurse up there delivering to all the elders. So
And
thank you.
And the vice president.
And also to Amber's request, while we're doing this, we'll also pop up some more amazing photographs of what we also got from Dennis. We were with him yesterday, and also got some film footage that we want to post up as well on the website of his just the amazing work that he does. But before we do that, Donna or Christine, did you have a question or a comment while I'm sifting through these pictures to pop up, also to show Kathy and Harry, who just came in?
Mom,
and anyone else.
Mom, give us a second. We're going to pop up one of Dennis's woven rugs, rather.
All right, Donna, you got a question or a comment?
Yeah. First of all, Dennis, your work is beautiful, and just really got to me right here. The other thing is, I'm wondering, do you actually raise your own sheep too? Or do you buy the wool from someone else who's raised the sheep? Did we freeze?
I missed it. I'd like to see that again.
Oh, okay.
She's asking again.
Okay. I was wondering if.
No, not you.
Oh.
Simon. The interpreter.
It's freezing too much. I'm not seeing what's happening. I'm sorry.
Okay, everybody, it looks like we have an unstable screen. So Elena's going to put a picture of the rug back up for everybody to just look at for a minute.
And while I'm doing that, I also want you to give a pause and a thought for all these amazing people on the reservation when we went into COVID, and a lot of schools locked down, went on to Zoom or whatever platform so they could be educated. This is students and all the way through work, something. And a lot of people on not only the Navajo Nation, but throughout Indian country. What we're experiencing, which I'm pretty happy about, kind of give you a taste of a lot of children, students, high school, elementary, all the way through, couldn't do any education throughout COVID simply because of how poor the connection is. So, food for thought. Sorry to change the topic. I just had to throw that in. Just couldn't help myself. So while we're doing that, we're very lucky to be able to do a different picture of Dennis because his network's a little bit unstable. In the background, if I recall this right, this is one of his nephews holding up another amazing piece. But I'm just going to be quiet while you kind of just soak in the amazing detail in his work. And then I'm hoping that we can ask Dennis about this when we come back in. Isn't that phenomenal? I love it.
So can everybody see that?
Okay, I'm just going to come back in.
I'd like to share real quick that we saw Dennis working on that piece yesterday. He is fast. I mean, his fingers are just going like a real professional. So
Dennis, I'm hoping
us.
you can see us. That weaving that we just put up, are you able to share a little bit of your inspiration about that piece?
Who influenced you?
Well, of course, as I said, I learned from my mother. And I also learned sand painting. So there are some references between the two that I kind of mix with those media between each other. You can see the lines specifically, the way that the piece turns. It's got some of those same feels and that same native design. The circle there is a person. It's and then there are 4 men that are in that circle, and then there's corn there as well. So you have these 4 people and the circle surrounding it with the corn in there. Yeah.
That's beautiful. I'm just going to go back into that piece. So now you've got what Dennis was talking about. There it is again. With the 4 men. The corn.
Is that 4 men?
And in the directions. Bloody fabulous.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Oof. Well.
Oh, now can you remember? Oh.
So the 4 men that are present in that picture, you can see also that there's 4 directions in the center. And you can see also that there is a woman present stretching around. So there's the men, and then there's a woman there as well.
Wow, that is beautiful, and that is very, very powerful. Thank you so much for sharing that. I want to go back to a piece,
He's talking.
Now that work took easily 2 months just to do half of it. So I really put in work on that one.
Beautiful. This is going back to Donna's question. She wanted to know if the wool you use is the sheep you raise. Is it your sheep?
I own my own. Yeah, I own them.
So Dennis, when you make your rugs, if nobody if I can ask a question real quick, because I know this is audience turn to ask questions, but is it easy to sell your rugs? Do you have contacts in Santa Fe, the greatest Indian art market? Because this is definitely competitively good work. So is there any way we can support you, or do you know where to sell it when you make it? Like, I know there's artists, but you can get a product, but you got to know how to market it. So how do you do that being way out in Tisnaspas? Is it easy to sell your art?
So I tend to do work that's specific to women. And when I do these designs, that's kind of my motivation. That's what influences me.
I see. Okay, anybody got any more questions? We're going to see if we can download some more of these beautiful rugs we got, which the internet is unstable. Here's another one coming up.
Oh, good. I wasn't sure if it was the same one. Okay. This too. Thank you, everyone, for your patience. We've got two unstable networks, one ours as well.
That's the first one.
Oh, did I show this one?
Yeah, you already showed it.
Oh, okay. Well, your mother didn't see
Hey,
this.
Mom, look at this. Is another one of Dennis's pieces. It's the female figures. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then there's a figure around it. And Dennis talked about the figures being square is representation of woman, powerful women. And then when we see the round on these figurines, it's the male. So the round face is the male, the square is the female. And then all these pieces around the woman is representational of arrows and corn and all this amazing stuff that Dennis learned from his mother. So if we had a more stable connection, I would like for us to hear about Dennis's childhood, being raised traditionally with traditional women, and then his trip to the New Mexico School for the Deaf, learning American Sign Language. Those are the questions that I was hoping to ask Dennis. So let's give it a shot. We got just a few minutes.
But I just put in a different.
Oh, there's a different one. Hey, you guys, here's a new image. Check it out.
That's amazing, hey?
Yeah.
What a lot of work. It's beautiful. Dennis, are you able to explain that piece we just popped up on the screen?
Yeah. It's another Yebiche piece, and it's dancing women. You can see that there's a design around the women. There's 5 women in this one. And you can see in their skirts, and just above them and below them, there's a design that's zigzagging on the tops and bottoms.
Amazing. Are you able to because we did a beautiful interview with you yesterday, thinking we might have to use that as a backup if we couldn't get a connection here in Chinle. So we have all this amazing footage of Dennis actually working very close up. So I think, just to be fair, since tonight was so unstable, when me and Elena get back into Santa Fe, we'll edit a beautiful footage of the actual Dennis talking about his life and all that kind of stuff, and we'll give you guys that on our website just to make up for tonight, because it's been unstable and it looks like we just lost him as well.
So I was just going to ask a question that we've got in the box, but I've also sent another different piece again that when it comes through, we'll give that a whirl. Is this it? Oh, it's still downloading. Oh, great. Here it is.
Oh my God, look at this one, you guys. Wow, look at this one. This is crazy.
Hang on, you're giving away the
Okay,
surprise.
check this out, you guys.
Actually, it's a real shame because I really wanted Dennis to explain this. But this is the thing, living on the reservation or throughout
Yes.
Indian country, of not having a stable connection. And so unfortunately, if you're on, we have lost our phenomenal traditional Navajo Dene weaver, Dennis Long, because of the broadband width. So we can only imagine in our wonderful creative minds. We're just going to go to another piece. I mean, he's done many, many pieces, and this is also going to be another one that we're just popping up now.
Can you guys see that? Let's move it over. Okay. Let's just look at that for a minute.
Is that freaking awesome? Damn. Oh, sorry.
This is pretty cool. Wow.
That's a lot of work.
That's
hey?
a lot of work. Well, everybody, we've got
Yeah.
some great stuff. So we do have more in store for you. It's just not going to happen tonight, but we are going to be fair.
Anyway, you amazing peeps. I want to say this
We love you.
because we know that even though Dennis's camera might be gone, and Marvina, you might be able to see us as well, but your work has been absolutely extraordinary. And also thank you. Thank you for carrying on the traditions of your mother, and also being the last weaver in your family, your generation. We hope that your nieces, nephews continue on this extraordinary work from your lineage. Oh, here he is. Thank you, Marvina.
He's reading my text. I'm thanking him.
Dennis, I want to show this piece back again. I would love for you to explain it to us, so we're all not kind of going home, going to bed, or you're waking up in the morning thinking, that was so amazing. So this is the piece that we just shared, Dennis. Dennis, would you be able to explain your inspirations in that amazing piece?
Again, this has some sand painting influences. It's called the Sand Painting Women. And there are 4 women in this one. You can see again the 4 directions placed here in the center of this. And then there's also some corn in this one as well. It's got 4 different specific colors here, and white, black, red, and yellow. And in that color wheel, you have present those 4 directions. It's very meaningful. It's got that traditional feel. And then, you can see also that there's a baby present in that picture. In the top, they've got the baby there in that area. And then you've also got some surrounding details around it that really tell a story.
Beautiful. I'm going to go back to the piece. Now you've got that vividly in your mind of this extraordinary weaver who's just shared this piece, what it was about for him as he was making, creating, as it was coming through to his fingers,
Wow.
through the wool, his sheep.
We are so incredibly proud of you,
Damn.
Dennis.
That
We
detail.
are so proud of you. Today has been a very tearful day for me. And again, I want to cry. These are happy tears of pride that we have Navajo, deaf, two-spirit, powerful weaver, carrying on legacy of your grandmothers, your mother, your family, being proud to be this beautiful Dene man, honorable, classy. I've seen you every time I see you dressed so beautifully. You're always with your jewelry, and you're tall and handsome, and you go to all these Navajo ceremonies, and you stay with the culture even without ASL interpreters on the reservation. That doesn't stop you from being a part of the Navajo life. So you're in the weaving fabric. The design of Navajo living is your walk. Thank you, Dennis. Thank you for being you. Thank you for being a proud Native Deaf Two-Spirit. We love you.
So just before we pop off, and with the extraordinary blessings and weavings of all our threads coming together, we are so honored not only to be beaming out from the Navajo Nation here in Chinle, Arizona, and we weren't sure if we were going to sustain the entire show because the connection is unstable here, but we have.
Yay! Good job, Dennis.
And not only that, we only had Dennis pop off once with his unstable connection in Shiprock. So what a miracle, and we're really grateful you could come back in. We just wanted to share with you the Indigenous Ways virtual events will be taking a sabbatical June and July. We will be back live, same channel, same place, same time, every Wednesday, back starting in August. But don't panic, because at this time, starting June, next week, can you believe that? We're in the middle of the month. Wow, we're going to be in Christmas before we know it. We're going to do some incredible reruns with over 100 artists and the virtual events that we've been able to support since the 1st of April 2020 last year. Thanks to all of you being able to do that, as well as an artist from the Indigenous Healing Festival that we had during Mother's Day weekend, which was the Saturday and Sunday, the amazing artists there. So we will be having those reruns for the month of June and July. And then we want you to come back into the circle again. We'll be beaming out because we've got a lot of people that we've gathered through our social media networks, thanks to COVID and this time of keeping us all connected. And also thank you to you. Why are we on the Navajo Nation at the moment? Simply because we're on our 12th relief run to the Four Corners, to the deaf and hard of hearing community. So as Tash was saying, we got to see Dennis drop off some food boxes for his amazing community, and he'll be driving, borrowing a car as he has every time to drop off those boxes. We also saw Aletta, who's joined us here in Zoom, who's in Lukachukai. And then today we went up to Black Mountain to drop off some boxes there of food. That's only been possible because of you. And
we love you.
So thank you so much. So in saying that, thank you to our interpreters. We had Zol. We also had Kaylee. Let's give it up for our interpreters, making access available for all. But most importantly,
Dennis,
to share the incredible medicine and also the teachings, not only from his mother, his generations that has been passed through to him and holding that. So please, let's give it up for Mr. Dennis Long.
And now we know where you live. We're going to come see you, okay? We love you. Bye,
Anyway,
everybody.
we
Be well.
love you. Be well. Thanks for tuning in. Great to see you all. And we'll look forward to seeing you back live in August. Otherwise, you can watch some amazing presenters this time
Keep
next
coming
week in June and July.
We're not going to give up.
Okay.
Every Wednesday, everybody. Keep coming.